And we are live.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the remembrance of David Wilcock, his life and his work. I'm OccultPriestess, Reverend Corinne Wilson, and I am with
Micah, Dank. And we are coming to you from Florida. Not as fans of David Wilcock, but because So let's put it to you this way. There's a lot of information that's coming out. And there's a lot of, how do you say this? There's just a lot of information floating around about what happened. And we're not looking to steer you guys one way or another. Personally, we both didn't love David Wilcock. I had a positive. I saw when the source field, his book came out, I saw him give a presentation, a lecture on it. And I thought it was very interesting, mind-blowing. And through him, this was maybe 12, 13 years ago, I learned that when you put a presentation together, you've got to just put the information there and then blow someone's mind, but then don't let it calm down. Just keep sending these explosions one after another. And I learned that from him. So I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt when the thing with Corey Goode and all this kind of stuff started to happen. But I never really hated him. I just personally thought that the source field was interesting. And when I didn't see him doing any more of those kind of things, that was it. So we're not here trying to guide you guys one way or another. And we're not lovers of David Wilcock, even though he is very polarizing. Some people miss him. Some people say they loved him early on. And some people say that he's an absolute shill, and the fact that he's a reincarnation of Edgar Casey, and a lot of people were just disgusted by. He was very polarizing, apparently, when I made my post last night about him. But what we want to do here is we want to present all the information out there. Just word vomit all the information that we know as of now. And based off of that, y'all make your own decisions, to be honest with you. So we're just going to give you all the facts that we have right now. So where do you want to start, Priestess?
I like the audience to know that I knew David Wilcock. I moved out to Los Angeles for 7 years on a mission from God, basically, to look into and finally expose the New Age UFO movement out there. And so I was in the circles with David Wilcock, and we hung out. I have some pictures I can show you today. And I have a blog on my WordPress. 2 of them actually, all about David Wilcock. So OccultPriestess, WordPress, just search for David Wilcock, and both the articles will come up, and there's a lot of research there on his work. And I guess the interesting situation that I do know about is that David Wilcock followed the law of one. He was a huge component of the law of one. However, the man who channeled the law of one was Don Elkins. So basically that was his mentor. I don't know if they ever knew each other, but he followed Don Elkins' work.
What is the law of one, if you were, because we all know about the secret and all that kind of stuff, but what is the law of one?
I really can't define it except for to call it New Age bullshit, as Mark Passio would call it. So Don Elkins actually committed suicide by gun after the cops were called to his house, which is exactly the story we heard last night or yesterday about David Wilcock, that they both had the exact same demise and they both followed the law of one. And I found that to be wild. What do you think about that, Micah Dank?
That's pretty interesting, actually. And I wanted to throw in the fact, too, that what is his name? Win something or other? His biographer died 2 days prior as well, too. And
yeah, you put that on your Facebook, right?
Somebody mentioned on my Facebook, too, that 420 we know is Hitler's birthday, right? It's the, national fun day. But it's also the day that Prince and Avicii died. And I found that to be very interesting because there are There's just some things that conspiracies don't happen out of nowhere.
Right.
People put together information and they're like, this is a pattern. I'm going to share this pattern, because if it wasn't there, then, and then there's people doing the numerology and they found all sorts of gematria components to it as well.
Gematria and numerology are different things, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of clues there. Definitely. Gematria is based on the Kabbalah, so it's actually Abrahamic. It's not occult. It's Abrahamic.
Right. Awesome. So where do we want to start? Do you want to start with the police report, and then we'll just tear that apart?
All right. Let me so go ahead and talk for a minute, because I'm going to bring up our Facebooks.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I found out too about David Wilcock was that he had said that he regularly, clearly hears and talks to Archangel Michael. So I don't know if the people out there, hold on, we got a comment. Was David Christian? Do Christians partake in self-deleting? I thought that automatically damned them. I don't think he'd do that. Tyler, I think from my knowledge on that, suicide is viewed negatively in all religions, but I don't think it's the Christians that view it as the worst. I think it's the Catholics, which there is a distinction. I don't think David was a Christian. I didn't see any information to show that he was a Christian. Suicide is viewed negatively in all Abrahamic religions. So
that's right. And I don't believe David was a Christian either. And in fact, in my blog, you can see a conversation I had with David at Jimmy Church's house, New Year's Eve 2018, I believe it was, 2017, 2018. And he told me that since he met Corey Goode, he no longer channeled at all, completely at all. He gave it up. And that struck me as very strange, being a psychic myself. I was like, how can you just put that down? So anybody out there who's worked in the psychic arts will know you can't just pluck out your third eye and stop channeling. It happens naturally. So that was an interesting point that he made to me, at that party. And so we're going to bring this up here. This is where you first told me, Micah Dank, 22 hours ago, I'm hearing rumors David Wilcock took his own life. And then there's one of the blogs, and you can even see that on my Facebook. There's the link to the blog. And we are looking now for the police report, which I know I put in the comments.
I'm gonna put another comment up while you look for it.
Excellent.
Micah, does speaking in tongues demonic? If part of the Bible is the higher being manipulated some people, speaking in tongues is, how do I explain this? Some people view it as demonic. Some people view it as being possessed. These people who speak in tongues are the kind of people that handle snakes in church. This is those kind of people. It is absolutely not pure.
It's a type of channeling.
It is, but it's not the kind of entities that you want, to be honest with you. You're opening yourself up as a portal. You're opening up. You got to remember, the non-physical entities. Where we live right now on Earth is basically the lowest sphere of heaven and the highest sphere of hell where they meet. And entities from both vie for attention on our plane. And they are non-physical, whereas we are physical. And what they need is a host. So when you open yourself up to things you don't fully understand, like people speaking in tongues, that's possession. That's what that is. So did you find it?
So there's also this. Astromagus says he read the Bible and saw Christ as an ascended being, not a Christian. So so he was going with the ascended master, which actually comes from Buddhism, which is hilarious. So this is the announcement. It does not have David Wilcock's name in it, but I think she's a congressman from Florida. Her first name is Luna. And she posted about it last night on X. She said that she was sorry to hear that David Wilcock had passed. So this is Boulder County, Colorado, the 1400 block of Ridge Road, northeast of town Nederland.
Yeah.
And deputy arrived approximately at 11:02 a.m. and made contact with a male outside a residence who was holding a weapon. Within minutes of deputy's arrival, he used the weapon on himself. He was pronounced deceased at the scene, and that is bouldercounty.gov/news/death investigation near Ridge Road. So if you'd like to go there, check it out yourself. You can read it there, or you can go to my Facebook and look at it there. But that is like
what they're not telling you in that original report that you're looking at right there is that the standoff with the police and David with the gun supposedly was 5.5 hours long.
Actually, I think that might have been misconstrued.
Okay.
The 5.5 hours came from Don Elkins' story.
That
is what Don Elkins did. You know more details than I do about the David Wilcock situation. So go ahead and tell us what you know or what you were told.
Just that when you read the story, the idea that okay, so what I had heard, and again, I am not putting my faith in anything that I am saying. I'm just sharing everything that I heard and let you guys sift through it. I heard that the police were heading to his house because it had to do with like a mental wellness check, but basically they were going to bring him to the hospital. That's what was happening. That's what I had heard. They were bringing him to a mental hospital. And basically what happened is when they got there, he went outside, he had the gun, and as soon as they approached him, he shot himself, which that story in itself, of course, is going to breed conspiracy theories because his freaking his autobiographer or his publisher his biographer died 2 days ago. You know, all these Bill Cooper, they all die the exact same way, don't they? It's the exact same thing. They always
could all be involved in the exact same thing. They were all popular. They all had money. They all had maybe handlers. I mean,
and then this is where it comes into the fact that some people out there, and I've gotten pushback on this on my Facebook, but again, I'm just presenting information that I know, guys. I don't know any better. You don't know any better. We're just trying to get that. I just saw David Wilcock on Sunday. I don't think he committed suicide. In his last video that he did on Sunday, he said he doesn't believe in suicide and he would never kill himself. In his last video on Sunday. That's suspect.
He was talking about the scientists that had recently died.
Right. And then now people are attaching to him. Was he tied to anti-gravity work?
Right. I mean, was he tied to any of the deeper government work? Because he knew a lot of deeper government people. I can say that for real because they're in the new age scene. But also he followed Q and he gave a whole bunch of Q disinformation. So it's like you've got to parse through this stuff to find the truth. It's not obvious.
You guys have to understand something. When you hear a lot about conferences, right? Like alien conferences, UFO, it's misleading. All these disclosure conferences, people think, they're going to come out with the fact that aliens disclose. Tom DeLonge to the stars, all this to the Stars Academy. Everybody thinks that the disclosure movement is to release the alien information. That is not what disclosure is.
It's gatekeeping.
Disclosure is to release the information for technology that is black bagged, probably for 20, 30 years from now. That's what the disclosure is. It's not, are there green men in the sky? Are there aliens in the water? Disclosure is the release of technology that's being hidden. And that's why you get remote viewers. That's why you get all these people that come there. Alexander the Woke says, Occult Priestess, will you collab with Zach from Gematria Effect News?
Yeah, let's go for it. Hook me up. OccultPriestess@gmail.com.
There we
Definitely
go.
Talk about that.
We got here Micah on several of David's shows had said he would never take his own life. It's almost sad, right? That people have to say that they're not suicidal. Like, it's become mainstream that people say they're not suicidal, and they don't give a shit anyway. They kill them anyway, or they suicide them anyway, even if they say that. It's unbelievable.
Look at Virginia Giuffre from the Epstein files. I mean, she was attacked. She was in the hospital, and she's like, "I'm not suicidal." And then, like 2 weeks later, she is gone.
Right.
And
she was the young, underage blonde girl that was in that picture with Prince Andrew on the plane. That's Virginia Giuffre. You know what else really absolutely drives me crazy? When people sit there and go, I've got an explosive story that's going to take the government down, or that's going to blow this thing wide open. I'm going to release it in a week or 2 weeks. You're just setting yourself up to be suicided. What you do is you go to a very popular forum and you just drop it and step back. You do not announce it anywhere. You do not give them the ability to come and collect you. They either zapped him to go crazy and unalive him, or the good guys grabbed him for witness protection. Okay.
I forgot about his Q angle, and we can all be wrong at times, but his death validates a lot of things I thought about him. Isaac Cappy. Yep.
Yeah, right. He jumped off a bridge after he named Tom Hanks. And then Tom Hanks basically insulted him after he died.
Yeah. We're a lot closer to all of these things than people realize. And plus, I was in Los Angeles for 7 years, and doing YouTube videos on disclosure and the gatekeepers. And I was in with those folks. So please trust me when I tell you, it really is to gaslight the public.
Well, a lot of people are saying that he killed himself because he never fully got over his divorce from 5 years ago, which I don't know the story around his divorce, to be honest with you.
Well, he was in an abusive relationship. His wife actually abused him, which says a lot about like his insecurities and his issues. He was not a confident, strong person in real life.
Well, we got a note here from Cameron, Jay Cameron. He seemed very gentle and not the type to ever have to use a gun, in my opinion.
And it'd be interesting that he even had a gun, being like a light worker and everything.
Right?
That's wild. Yeah. And even people who knew him still don't know to this day right now. They haven't announced, like Jimmy Church hasn't said anything about David Wilcock dying. Right. So it's very interesting.
I'm hoping that these people that actually knew him are biting their tongue until more information comes out, and they're not going to get caught with their pants down saying some bullshit.
Yeah, there's a guy catching a lot of strays today. His name is Steve Cambion, and he has his own YouTube, and he's been trying to expose the New Age disclosure movement as well. But he's kind of a bully. It's true. And people are actually blaming Steve Cambion for what happened to David Wilcock. It's wild. Like, they're starting campaigns to get his YouTube shut down.
All right, so let's talk about Corey Goode for a minute, because that's the part where I think a lot of people kind of fell out with David Wilcock.
Oh, they sure did.
You know, it's amazing. When you get to a certain point, it's almost like you get a disinformation handler that sneaks into your life and everybody gets honeypotted, whether it's a male or a female. Right?
I mean, this is reminding me, I know it's a different topic entirely, but the feelings I have are a lot like what happened to Charlie Kirk. It's like that same thing.
Yeah. Kind of how Erica is just so obviously demonic. You know, the thing about Corey Goode is just so... I remember watching a live with him, and Corey was talking about taking an elevator to the moon, and David Wilcock was like, well, you heard it here. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to this guy anymore. But, like, again, the source field, his original stuff was incredible. Like, it's unbelievable. And the other thing, too, that you got to think of is that when they take you to and you're from LA, and I forget which hospital it is in LA, but when a celebrity has exhaustion, they're actually bringing them to a hospital, to MK Ultra, to get reprogrammed. And it's a specific hospital in LA that they do. So whenever you have a mental break, or they say you have a mental break, like Kanye, they bring you in and they tweak you. It's like... what's that movie?
This is Carrie Cassidy of Project
The Adjustment Bureau.
I've seen Carrie Cassidy already put out a video on this. This is already on Project Camelot. And this says spent 1 minute about and then went on with her show. Oh, wow. Because I didn't watch the show, but the title was titled David Wilcock. So thank you, Cameron, for that.
Yeah. So what else? I forgot about his Q angle. We can all be wrong at times, but his death validates a lot of things I thought through him. Guys, to be perfectly honest with you, and I've interviewed Q people before, and let me make a distinction.
Really?
Yeah, I have because I'll talk to anybody. I've interviewed Q people. Let me make a distinction though. Within the Q community, there is a divide between people who think JFK Jr. is alive and people who think that it's bullshit within the Q community. So whenever you say the JFK thing, you got to understand that community is already split over it. And the way that they pull information and connect it to Q drops, to me, from what it looks like, is no different than Gematria, to be honest with you. The way that they connect it. It's so... and the thing that I...
Yes, all of it. It's all a psyop. It's all brainwashing.
Well, you know what it is, too, Priestess? Like, yes, maybe everything lines up with the numbers and the letters and everything, but it's post-mortem. It doesn't predict anything.
True.
Like in the book The Bible Code by Michael Drosnin, when they found the equidistant letter skips, and they found like Bush, 9/11, Afghanistan, or whatever they found, and then they were equidistant. I read Hebrew, so I know for a fact when I read the Hebrew word, I was like, that's what it says. But it's only after the fact. It doesn't tell you what's going to happen ahead of time.
Yeah, it's clues afterwards.
Exactly, and it's a waste of time.
Put your name in it and try to find out about your destiny and things like that too. But it's just a toy, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, let's see what we got here. Here we go. I had no idea. Watched so many of his videos. He was talking about how to gain spiritual strength. His talks combined areas that are dangerous for the overlords.
That's what Q is always saying. There's the white hats, and then there's all the spiritual demonic stuff that's after the white hats. And David himself said he was a white hat. And don't you see here the government psyop with the religious or spiritual psyop marrying like peanut butter and chocolate? Can't you see? That's what I did all of this work for. Why I moved to Los Angeles is to get some actual proof, and so people can have knowledge, because I'll tell you what, they told me that their audience are a bunch of idiots and they just want to take their money. And that broke my heart, because I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a teacher and I love my students and I love the work. And so I was there in the belly of the beast with people who didn't understand even 101. And they were the grifters completely. And they were nice people. They were polite, but they were not loving, good people. And that's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah. Stephanie says, are you worried about yourself ever with the information you release? I've had my YouTube channel taken down before. My astro work stays up there. I know for a fact, and I used to guest on a podcast with a guy who built an anti-gravity device with bullshit from his shed. Now, what you don't understand about anti-gravity devices, guys, is that when one is built, there are machines that can lock into it like a GPS coordination off of a triangle system. So they end up at their house. Now they become a government contractor and they disappear into the fold.
That's right.
But
yeah, you're a great genius. Don't tell the government.
Right. So what basically happened is I was told from him specifically that the FBI has read my books, that there are some people in there, the white hats, who are still good. And who, can you stop this, cat? There are white hats in there who like the information. But again, Steph, she was one of my more ardent, intelligent followers on Facebook and friends. I share my work through fiction, and that's how you do it. That's how you get away with it. That's why I did it. I'm not just some grifter who's like, hey, buy my books. No, if you want to learn, you're going to learn through this, and this is the medium, how it is. But basically, I know that I'm on lists, and to be honest with you, I don't care. I know what not to talk about. And to be perfectly honest with you, what not to talk about isn't very interesting to most people.
Right.
So right now we're just sharing what's readily available out there. For example, did you know?
Oh, well, I haven't heard anything from Gaia TV, just to answer your question, clapping cakes.
Yeah, clapping cakes is one of my favorite names.
If it's a psyop, the cabal deliberately does it on specific dates, which you were talking about.
Right. He is in a protection program. I don't know.
Gosh, thank you all for being here today. We're here under very weird circumstances, and we are discussing the tragic, violent death of David Wilcock.
Right.
It has not been officially announced yet, but we've heard all of these things, so we're just giving you all the information we have. Welcome on in. We appreciate you.
I mean, look, the way I see it, here's the way I see it. I saw Jordan Maxwell. We know Jordan. We love Jordan. We miss Jordan. We do a thing for him every year. We saw what Gaia did to him.
Yes.
I know Johnny Enoch. I know what Gaia did to him. I saw David Wilcock. I know what Gaia did to him. I know Timothy Hogan is a Satanist and at the top of the insanity. Like, Gaia is demonic. Guys, things when they get to that level get taken over. Like, look what happened to Turning Point USA. I may disagree with the Christians. All right? I may disagree with the Christians, but that was a legitimate, pure Christian movement. And look what happened to it. You can see it change in real time. And you know what? The history books and the textbooks are going to reflect what it is now, and people are going to forget what it was.
It's interesting that you brought up Max Spears, Jay Cameron, because Max Spears also died under mysterious circumstances. There was even rumors of black goo coming out of his body.
That's some Stranger Things shit right there.
And the thing is the moment that the news hit the community that he died, the rumors of conspiracy hit. That's just going to happen. A lot of people are saying the scientist died and David died, so it was all connected. That's a huge thing on my Facebook. People are commenting saying this was not right, and they're mad and they're sad. They're in mourning, but they're also like, this is a huge conspiracy. They took David out. And so I just want those people to have their voice too. I disagree with them, and that's okay. I want their voice to be heard.
Yeah, the 10 scientists. Here we go. Alternative channels pointed out how more than 10 scientists lost their lives recently who were involved in space research. Priestess, were they killed or did they just disappear? Because that's a different thing.
Well, no, some of them are actually dead.
But they're not all dead. Some of them just walked out of their house without their keys in their wallet and they just vanished, right?
Right. And that just stinks of government, obviously. Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're being taken out by a mob, right? Mm-hmm. So we understand that our government has these answers and they're not giving them to us, and they are supposed to be servants to the people. So I'd like people to realize they are not. They are our controllers. I'm sure most of our audience already knows that.
Let me explain to you guys how this works. And this works as a company. This works as a government. This works as a country, like Israel or something. This works just in general. Once something is created, you could think of it as being born, as being birthed. Now, what does something that being birthed does? It wants to gain for itself. And the other thing that it does is that it violently fights to stay alive. So when JFK says, I'm going to splinter the CIA is an organism now at this point. It doesn't want to die, so they get rid of him. Same thing with Israel, what's going on there right now. And
Israel even had something to do with JFK's unaliving. I mean, it's right. A mirror. History is repeating over and over again.
Neither Carrie nor Corey shed a tear. Why are we connecting Carrie Cassidy to...
Because Carrie Cassidy is Project Camelot, and she was huge in the scene, definitely in 2012, when David Wilcock came out with his 2012 stuff and all his predictions that did not come true. So Carrie Cassidy was a big player. I'm not sure so much anymore, but she really was with them all at the same time. It's like we all heard about these people at the same time. Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting idea. Lee Rockway. Lee, by the way, I got your DMs, man. I just haven't had a chance to answer them, but I will today. Don't worry. Instead of you guys saying you are not suicidal, maybe we need to start our own protection system that we need to be able to activate. I wonder if David saw this coming. Well, let me throw in something new to the mix for more information about David Wilcock. Apparently, the man owed $1.4 million to the IRS. And apparently he owed millions to a failed aerospace company as well, too. A lot of people don't know this, but aerospace companies, they don't often do well. Elon Musk was about to go broke. His last rocket shoot-off actually landed and brought him all the money, and then the company exploded. But he would have been broke, gone, if it wasn't for that. So David Wilcock apparently owed a ton of money. Never got over his divorce. People were messing with him. He was on record, on video, saying that Gaia turned him into a banana sandwich, which for those of you who do not know what a banana sandwich is, that's when one goes in the back and one goes in the front. And they basically turned him into an accordion. And he came out and said that. So he has a lot of stuff going on, to be honest with you.
If you think that David Wilcock was a stable person, you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, he had drama all the time. I was in there. So I saw the campaigns they did to make themselves more popular. And they also did a protest at one of the expos, Conscious Life Expo in LA. They put a protest because they weren't allowed to show themselves there. They weren't allowed to do a presentation at one point because the blue avian aliens were being exposed as being fake. And a lot of it was like a divided community. There were a lot of people that were like, you can't have this fake at this event. And so I was in those back end emails where they were trying to put together the protest. And I'm telling you, they had terrible attitudes and they were pretty nasty. And it's because David, you see it, we all see it. He had this big, beautiful ego. And he said that in the future, he was going to be treated like a rock star. He was going to be world famous and everyone's going to go with him. I mean, if you watch his stuff, you'll see it to this day. But I still think it's very important to say we lost someone who was in our community. And that there is a time for mourning and it is a time for being sad. Death itself is a very difficult thing to deal with. Yeah. And so it brings that out in us. So no matter how much we disagreed with David, he died in a very violent, tragic, horrible way. And so we're here to hold space for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, 2012, I couldn't remember when it was, but it was 2012 when, guys, 2012 was the end of the Mayan calendar, right? When everyone thought the world was going to explode, just like everybody thought that computers were going to explode on Y2K. The source field came out, and I thought that was, I didn't read the book, but I watched his 1.5 or 2.5 hour presentation on it. It was mind-blowing. Now, it wasn't his information, but he compiled a lot of information together because we don't always, researchers don't always, my presentation is half my research and basically half stuff that I found interesting from other people. And I combine the two. And then I basically make a flow out of it. Einstein and Tesla were not wrapped too tight either. I think Einstein married his first cousin, right?
So let's take it back in the past, man.
Yeah, Einstein married his first cousin, yeah. Tesla died broke. Hey, you know who took
government? Your life isn't going to end well. Pretty much.
You want to hear something funny? You know who took when Tesla died? They confiscated all his work. Do you know who confiscated it?
The government.
Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump.
Oh.
They're all connected.
Well, they're all freaking related.
They are. And you know why? Like, for example, the Rothschilds try and keep it within the family, which is why they look like fucking Nephilim. The reason that they do that is you'd think it's to keep the money together, but it's not the money. It's because they believe that they are the offspring of the Nephilim and the women procreating, and they believe that they have Nephilim blood in their bloodline, and they're trying to protect that bloodline. Hi, Sue. So, yeah. So they're all connected. It's one long story being told, to be honest with
It's
you.
one long psyop, though, also. Yeah. It's just this one big brainwashing program like Disney on acid, man.
It's just easier to go through life assuming when you read a story or you read an article or you hear a news thing that the exact opposite is true. It's easier to do that. It's actually easier to do that, to be honest. Uncle Trump, says Lee Rockway, and that's correct. It was his uncle. To this day, I don't know why they can't get one person in a room with Trump and just be like, why can't you release your uncle Tesla's files? They're talking about 0-point energy, and that's what's going on right now.
Yes.
It's like gravity, 0-point energy. What they're trying to do is they're trying to do what Tesla wanted to do and basically illuminate the world for free. But that threatens oil, that threatens electricity, that threatens everything. They took ether, which was the fifth element, out of textbooks right around the time Tesla died. And now nobody knows about it. Wilcox lived in the higher elevations and filmed a bear in his yard. I've never heard him say he had guns, but I don't know. Yeah, he was in Colorado. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. On his ranch that had a name, which I don't remember right now, but right. Yeah. So you heard that he was in debt, and I can imagine that his life just got worse after I knew him. More dramatic, more problems. Uh-huh. And so it's not totally out of the question that the police report is correct and he did hurt himself. But also, all Masons are known to be a fraternity of, cops are known to be a fraternity of Freemasons.
Right.
And so if you got to take care of somebody, you call the Freemason cops in. Well, we don't know that happened. And just like a few months ago, I was dealing with Styx Hexenhammer here on YouTube. I know him, and we were talking over the phone and stuff, and he had a wellness check called in on him, and he actually got arrested. And so that's a whole, when people are in the limelight, there's drama. Right. And a lot of it they're causing themselves.
If you're getting a wellness checked on you, you can assume that they mean, do you need your head blown off?
It's scary. That is scary. And I've always thought that way myself. Don't ever call the cops if you don't absolutely have to.
Right. The cop, it's like Jordan used to say, the cops are not here to protect you. They're here to enforce the law.
100%. And get your money if they can. He was asking for food over money, but he was not hunting. Okay.
Also, he was eating very healthy, too. Like, he was a skinny little dude, but I know he was eating organic. Like, to the end, he was eating pure organic. It's absolutely insane what's going on. So can you share?
Weren't you supposed to send me some stuff over Facebook? Because you sent it to my phone and I can't do that. But if you sent those things over Facebook, I'd be able to show them.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's the difference. So, here we go. So to show you guys that, here we go. This is my Facebook again, you guys. So we did a show with Truth Sika and Aurora, and that's on my YouTube, and it's all about the research and real life experience that I had with David Wilcock and Corey Goode and the Secret Space Program. And you might want to also look at this post here. It's about the law of one. Teacher and student die by suicide when cops, Masons arrive. Law of one teacher, Don Elkins, which I kind of covered already today. And so this has 336 likes. And it's not because I'm loving David Wilcock. It's because I'm telling the truth. and I'm talking about his teacher. But if you hear that David Wilcock had the cops waiting for 5 hours, like in a standoff, it's not true. That was Dawn Elkins, the teacher of Law of One, the teachings that David Wilcock followed and pushed, just so you know that. So if you need any extra details, you can also message me on Facebook or at OccultPriestess.com. Also, Sarah Adams, you guys might know her. She was the girlfriend of Max Spears, who someone already brought up in the chat today. When Sarah posted, so you might want to go to her channel to see what she had to say, because she said that David Wilcock was channeling demons. So you might want to read her very long post here on that. Okay, you ready, Dank? Did you send me?
I emailed it to you.
Oh, Occult Priestess email. Okay, I'll go look. Go ahead and talk, and I'll go find it.
Let me pull up another thing here too. Didn't he claim to be Edgar Casey reincarnated? Did he claim it, or did other people give him that title?
He did claim that, and I believe him. And I told him I believed him after he was with Corey Goode. I met him after he was with Corey Goode, not the original Wilcock. Right. And that's when he was telling me, oh, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I don't channel. I don't talk to beings, because apparently that was passé to him. So I'm sorry, what did you just bring up?
Claimed to be Edgar Casey.
I told him I believed he was Edgar Casey, but secretly and quietly, I also think Edgar Casey was a fake. I've tried his remedies and none of them worked.
Seriously?
Yeah, have you tried his remedies? Because none of them worked for me.
I know that Edgar Casey's channeling, where he talks about how Atlantis overcharged the crystals, and now learning what crystal technology is doing right now and how it's going to completely obliterate the motherboards and everything, and just relearning crystal technology. I thought that was realistic. I thought that was a real possibility. They show you in the Cave of Crystals in Superman that crystals could store memories, that crystals could store information, a ton of information, more than a freaking computer chip can, that it's going to be the future, but that they overcharged it and it destroyed everything. So when he said that, I was like, that's reason. And that was like, what, 100 years ago that he said something that outrageous? So I was like, okay. So Jay Cameron said Sarah seemed high most of her old videos.
Okay.
Yeah. Nephilim blood is fake.
Okay, I think I've brought it up. I just have to add it to the stage. Oops. Okay, you added. Thank you. Okay, what are we looking at here?
All right, let me read this to you guys real quick, because let me pull it up on my phone, because that's way too small. Hold on.
It's tiny.
It's tiny, yeah. So I made a post during COVID that variant Omicron, it's called Omicron Draconis. And Draconis is Draco, the dragon they talk about in Revelation. Its tail starts in Sagittarius. The Omicron variety was first announced in Sagittarius. What happens at the end of Sagittarius? And I went to a little astrotheology. It made its way to Corey Goode. And Corey said, a giant star in the constellation Draco. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but if true, this is getting weirder and weirder. This is probably the source of the name used in the Voyager 2 book. It was probably associated the star system with the subject. All in all, very interesting. Researchers are finding a lot of strange correlations with this name going back to the 1960s. So I was like, all right, so since he quoted my shit, let me reach out to him. So I emailed him, pull up the second one.
Okay.
So I emailed this dude, and I was like, dude, you just quoted me on this. I've got some further information if you would like me to share. And he wrote back, thank you for reaching out. We will look into your info and get back to you. We are also working on a number of documentaries and docuseries right now and are always looking for people who can provide correlating content. Let us know what you think you can offer if you don't mind. So I sent him some work. Never heard from him again. So that was my interaction with Corey Goode. I never actually met David Wilcock in general, but I did interact with Corey Goode. And then when all his shit came out that he was that like he testified that he was making things up, like that's in court papers, that he was just pulling shit out of his ass. I was like, dude, you need some real content. I emailed him again. I was like, you need some real content because you're fucking losing everyone right now. And then he never wrote back. So here we go.
Yeah, that's the second one you wanted.
Yeah. So the point is not whether. Oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted to put up. Corey is full of shit. He's a data miner who grifted on other people's stories and is now trying to claim them as his own IP. Correct. The point is not whether bloodlines are real, but that those who believe in them are obsessed with keeping them clean. They did this in Egypt too. Do you know King Tut was so King Tut died at 19. King Tut was so ancestral that he had to walk with like a fucking bully stick, just like a giant petrified elephant penis or camel penis. He had to walk because his feet turned inward, and he had the Habsburg jaw. And keeping the idea is to get as far away from your bloodline as possible. You know, Jews interbreed too, but that's why they have diseases like Tay-Sachs, which is completely fatal within the first 5 years of your life. So if you test positive for Tay-Sachs variant and your wife or husband tests positive for Tay-Sachs, your baby will have Tay-Sachs. That's inbred Judaism right there. There are genetic diseases. This is why when you're supposed to be with someone or you're going to procreate with someone, fucking find someone at the other end of the earth. You cannot find someone. If your family's from Italy, or actually if your family is from like a certain area in Italy and your wife's family is from a certain area of Italy and it's the same area, there's a 20% chance that within 8 generations you have a common ancestor. Like, please, like, look outside the box. So where are we right now? All in the Family.
Okay, so I'm gonna share this.
Yeah.
That is, go on the other window to scroll down. So these are the videos here, and there's one. I wonder if it'll play. Do you see a video?
Not yet, but I see the link on it. I just don't. It's not, the video's not up yet.
Okay, I have to share that differently.
All right, so while you're doing that, still no comment from the Basis Project, Miles, and no word from Graham Hancock.
Yeah, it's really weird. And Jimmy Church of Fade to Black Radio was a huge reason why David Wilcock and Corey Goode got so popular together at the same time, because they were on his show, like they were his boys. And then
Right.
He adopted Billy Carson. I'm telling you, Jimmy Church, a lot of these people come through him. So that's interesting. And here, let's see. This is wildly complicated, guys, but we got it together. These, you know, if you want to later stop the stream and go ahead and read all of these. See, I'm blocked by Corey Goode, as you can tell.
Fantastic.
And then this is Corey Goode, what he put up last night.
This is probably the hardest video I've ever had to do. As many of you know, or have learned, yesterday on 4/20, David Wilcock took his own life.
It's like watching Erica Kirk talk.
I really love David. He was a good friend. He was there with me through a lot of horrible things. We were there.
So I had no patience for him last night. That's where I stopped recording. But you can go into Corey Goode's X and you can see what's going on, what he posted. And this is just David Wilcock, his X feed and what's been going on. And then the top stories about him that last night and everything that was going on there.
Wow.
So it's all over social media. And I think at this point, even our representative in Florida, Luna, said that he had passed. So I think it's pretty official at this point.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. You know, every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that. Because frankly, people are disappearing. scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this to see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary. But you guys knew that I might still show up, even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week. But somehow we keep on making it through all this. I'm excited to be here. You know.
Wow.
And there's what me and Trusika and this lady Aurora did a whole video on the secret space program in Corey Goode, and that's what that is. So yeah, I can remove this from the stage, and that's just a little bit of what you can see on social media. In fact, Sean Young from the film Blade Runner, she saw my post about Wilcock, and then she messaged Freeman Fly and said, "Is this true? Is this real?" So I think the word is out there, and you can do your own we always say, do your own research, right?
I don't know. Listening to Corey Goode talk was just kind of like watching Erica Kirk talk.
Yeah, at least he didn't have a little square he was dabbing.
People have instincts, you know. People have instincts and intuitions, and there's just something that just didn't seem authentic about that at all. It seemed rehearsed. It's very off-putting. You know what I mean?
I do. And they're all, in my opinion, educated opinion actors, and they're acting. And you know what? I felt bad that David died, and I'm sure Corey feels bad. I mean, why wouldn't you feel bad?
Right.
There's some pattern recognition issues that are going on here with the missing scientists. And it's something that has captured the attention of the country.
So yeah, pattern recognition with the missing scientists. That's definitely happening. Sorry about that. I didn't shut the thing off. So yeah, a lot of people are equating the dead scientists with what happened with David Wilcock. So I think we've given you some information that you can kind of see a little bit of fact, a little bit of fiction, and do your own research.
Yeah. As we're coming up on
those who lost David, I think that's super sad, and I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry.
Wow. Yeah. So as we're coming up on an hour and we're wrapping up, I think we gave as much information as we have right now. We just wanted to get it out there. Again, Priestess and I, myself, we weren't in love with David Wilcock. You know, we're not hysterically crying over this, to be honest with you. But the dude did share some stuff that hit me in the feels.
We're all shook. We are definitely shocked and shook.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting every time somebody dies that has a. But
we're not trying to just say he was a great guy. He was the most awesome guy in the world. When people lose their life, that's the way some people talk. And we're trying to keep it real and be authentic with you as a community.
So we'll see as more stuff comes out. If he was like shot in the throat twice or something, and they ruled it a suicide, and things of that nature. If we find it, his name in Gematria is 53. I just saw another post like that real quick. Ready?
Yeah, that was really interesting about the disclosure.
David Wilcock died at the age of 53, 53 days before the premiere of the Hollywood film Disclosure Day. But again, this brings me back to my point. This is post-mortem. This is only stuff that. How does that help? How does that help?
You can predict it. It doesn't help. I predicted COVID 1984, made a video about it. It doesn't help. You can be as psychic as you like, but life's gonna life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello. I want to say hi to my friend Joy Jolt out there. Hi, Claire. Good to see you today. Thanks for coming by. And see, Jay Cameron, David had a brilliant mind. So there you go. I mean, there's all kinds of opinions. That's why it's a community. You want to take that one?
Brotherhood of the White Temple in Colorado started in the 40s by Dr. Dorriel. Dorriel wrote the Amulet Tables of Thought.
Let me talk to you about Dorriel, which I also have I have a blog about. He also wrote the Kabbalion, which is supposed to be written by the three initiates. He wrote that too. He was a New Age grifter in the 1940s, dude. So it's like all these people are following the same grifter track. And please do your research on Dr. Dorrell because and his wife, and also Don Elkins and his wife. Her name was like Rutger or something, but it's all in my blogs on. Okay, thanks. Let me get that out. Very sad to hear about David Wilcock. Never wish that on anyone. That's how we're feeling today too, Claire.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's really smart because he knows about that old-fashioned stuff that I also researched. So thank you for bringing that up. And there is.
So it's because of that dude that we have Billy Carson today.
Yes, 100% is the Dorrell dude is Billy Carson because they just.
I think it was you. We did a previous stream a year or two ago, 2 years ago maybe, where you were explaining that there's no such thing as emerald tablets. That
there is no such thing as anything except for the Emerald Tablet by Hermes.
Right.
That's the ancient real one that you can get at the library. And it's just a very short little thing. You can read it in like an hour. Well, actually a lot shorter, like 30 minutes. It's really no big deal. And then all these other books, fake books, came out to muddle the message. And people made money off of it. And that's why we call them grifters, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's really sad. See, here we go.
So the Kabbalion's garbage?
Yeah, unfortunately, but it also always read like stereo instructions, Beetlejuice, the Book of the Dead. And so I kind of knew it was a joke at that point when I'm like, well, you can't even make sense of it. It sounds like a science manual. Astromagus, Kabbalion, and Emerald. What was that one? Interesting, never bought it. Okay, great. Yeah, and then he's around, Stuart Swerdlow. Yet a lot of people are going to refuse to believe that he unalived himself. That's true. He was close with Max Spears before Max passed. That's true. Yeah. I love it when people can see the bigger picture of the bigger psyop instead of looking at little individual pieces. That's compartmentalization, and that's how they keep us stupid. When you can see the bigger picture, then it all fleshes out. The dots all connect to each other. Mm-hmm. And if you're interested in knowing more, watch any of my YouTube videos on the secret space program, disclosure, and UFOs, Dr. Greer, all that stuff. It's all the same psyop. And we're about to get it this summer, Micah Dank. We're about to get it through Spielberg, and it's going to be big. I mean, Trump is all over the secret space program and all of that stuff. I mean, what is Trump here to usher in? We're already like becoming bankrupt as a nation, and then they're going to throw aliens on us. And I've heard secret, I sound like a Q-tard, but I literally have heard secret intel from uber rich people that they are preparing for a doomsday event for real. And we can't ignore what's going on in Iran and how Israel's trying to bring about the apocalypse of the Abrahamic traditions. What do you think about all that, Micah Dank? That's a lot.
Yeah. I always say that the Christians need the Christians need the Jewish Messiah to come because they view him as the Antichrist. Basically, what happens is the Jewish end of days has to happen in order for the Christians to happen. And the Christians and the Jews need to happen their end of days in order for the Muslims' end of days to happen.
But they're all Abrahamic, so it's one apocalypse.
Right.
So if we all stopped being Abrahamic right now, would the apocalypse go away?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as we come up on an hour, Priestess.
Everyone is building compounds and bunkers. That's part of the intel that I personally have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't get out of here, I guess. It is 3 p.m. We've been live for 59 minutes.
Right. So do we have any last minute comments that we want to make?
Project Bluebeam, because that's what we've always decided. That's how they're going to bring in the aliens. But also secret tech. And that is what Dr. Stephen Greer said on X a few weeks ago. We're not necessarily hiding aliens. We're hiding secret tech. And
That's what
that
disclosure is.
also from Nazis and Nazi Germany, all of that gravity stuff, they were doing that in Nazi Germany. They were making little UFOs basically and working with that technology. So I hope most of our audience already knows this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about this Cyrus guy?
No, I don't know.
Me neither. Here you go.
Check out the zodiacal sound, the sine wave, fall from grace into matter. Yeah, if you wrap it, you can wrap the sine wave over a flattened map of the world, and you can show the light.
Flat Earth.
Yes and no.
So the interesting thing about this is if you read ancient Greek traditions, they were the ones who originated the story that we all fell to earth, every single soul. It wasn't just some weird demons and weird things like that. We fell in love with earth. We fell down to earth through what they called fascination. So that's a really cool history lesson if you guys want to get into that, because it doesn't include original sin. So it's a really beautiful philosophy, or Greek myth, Greek religion. And then, hey, here's our girl, Christy Bray. I went to high school with her. We're still best friends. And she knows Micah Dank. Hey. Hey,
what's up, Christy?
Christy, we're sorry for your loss, honey. You know, we've all been through the mill this past 24 hours. So if anybody has anything they'd like to say in the chat, please bring it around now.
You guys, we're doing last minute comments here. Here we go. Dr. Doriel's place is still around up in the mountains by Sedalia, Colorado. You kind of find pictures of him in a bishop's outfit.
Yep, I got a few pictures of him in my blog. And there was another research, Annie next, I can't remember how to say his name, but he went to Dorel's place and he did the physical in-life research. And that's in my blog along with his video. So you should check that out.
Mm-hmm.
It's Occultist in the Corner, WordPress, OccultPriestess.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you getting into, Danka? What does your recent future look like here soon?
I am having lunch with 2 fans that I met in public at Chili's in about 45 minutes.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Maybe you can do a little phone quickie interview. And I will be on Raging Tomato with Benjamin Balderson. We are both pagans, and it is a debate show. We will be with 2 Christians, and that is on Monday. So stay tuned to my channel for more information, or my YouTube for more information about that. Oh, this is interesting. No word from Gigi Young or Dark Journalist. So Gigi Young goes on Dark Journalist show, and Gigi really gets into all this New Age stuff too. She's part of the PSYOP, I promise you. Big fan of the Dark Journalist, love his work. And he's recently in the past year been going on Alex Jones talk about disclosure. However, Dark Journalist is the one that got me into the deep weeds with Corey Goode and with David Wilcock, because he's a real researcher. And so if you want the deeper dirt on these gentlemen, you go look at Dark Journalist and look up Corey Goode or David Wilcock or Secret Space Program on his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no word from AJ either.
Who's AJ?
Alex Jones.
Yeah, I believe. What's he on now? I think at least Alex knows about him. And Luke Radowski just took a picture of himself 2 days ago with Billy Carson. I'm like, Luke, no.
I like how Billy Carson's ex-wife, Elizabeth, kept his last name, and she has a career now because of him.
Billy Carson's or David Wilcock?
Billy Carson's ex-wife.
Oh, I don't know why I think David Wilcock's wife's name's Elizabeth. However, as far as I know, David was still married, wasn't he? I mean, I didn't hear he got divorced a second time. I met his second wife. And so I don't know if she's in mourning today and what's going on with her. It's really, really sad.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I got to take off. So thank you, everybody. I think at one point we had 150 people live.
Well, hopefully a lot more will watch. And I hope we brought some comfort and some facts, really. That's all we're here for. So guys, feel free to follow Priestess and myself on Facebook. X, Cult Priestess. Yeah. You just look me up on Google. Everything shows up. Yes. And I'm a professional psychic. So come by OccultPriestess.com, please, and make your appointment, or you can give a small donation, whatever you prefer. Awesome. So thank you guys, and we will talk to you soon.